What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here, AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is. Alright, so I had a little problem that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Recently, alright, look, I'm not good with technology, otherwise I'd show you whatever it is, but I recently got into a little bit of an argument, or I guess you can call it an argument or a debate, over whether or not Vert, I call her Vertical, Bermuda Triangle, the new Vert stripe, gives you the same value, and or better phrase, is it a Nextage or better than a Nextage turn? Now, I have an issue with this because personally, I don't think Vert should ever be compared to my obsession outside of Aquaforce in Nextage. Not Gear Chronicles or Chronojet as a whole, but Nextage, because I like the card. I like the damn card. It's a good-ass card. But I like this card too. But I don't think that Nextage and Vert should be in the same sentence when as far as them being the same, or Vert being better in terms of what it offers in power level and things of that nature. Now, here's the thing about Nextage. What is Nextage's cost? The end of battle attack to Vanguard, Persona Flip, discard 3, D-Stride, restand your Chronojet Vanguard. Simple. What is Vert's cost? Discard 3. Choose up to 2 cards to bounce. D-Stride. Re-ride a grade 3 Prism as stand. Now, they have the same cost in terms of discarding, but here's where the difference lies for me. And it is the fact that Vert needs help in multiple fashions. Nextage doesn't need any help. See, Nextage is so much simpler to explain. Because I'll do that first. Nextage, all you have to do for Nextage is attack, drop 3, restand, bam. Done, deal, done, good. You've used his ability. Now you have another attack with your Chronojet. Then you have Vert. Vert, on the other hand, is limit break 4, so it is restricted to having a certain amount of damage. Yes, even though, despite the fact that we do play the limit break enabler to, help with this, if you're at 3, or if you unfortunately hit a heal trigger at 4 and you go down to 3, we have this here do that. But do you always draw it? No. Do you always see it? No. So if it's not on the field and you're at 4 damage, your opponent is at 4 damage or less, then going into this Vert stride, unless your heal triggers are all out of your deck, going into this Vert stride is a risk that you take. Whereas Nextage can be used if you're at fucking 0 damage. Or not 0, excuse me. If you're at 1 damage, because, I believe you have to counterblast. But he's not restricted, obviously, by how much damage you're at, whereas this card is. Again, if you have the limit break enabled, cool. Now, she doesn't have to counterblast, but that's not the problem. The problem is, one, you have to be at specific damage, and, in order to remain at limit break 4, you need help from another card, which is this card. You need help from this card to be able to remain there, unless you're at 4 or 5 damage, and, you can stay there. Secondly, this card requires you to have another grade 3 in hand to give you the full value of its ability. Nextage is just restand. It's, pretty much you restand the heart. That's it. This card's like, you need another grade 3. Now, you might say, oh, well, I'm just going to not discard a grade 3. Hey, you know what? Fuck it. That's fine. You can bring up your perfect scenario. That's fine. I've been playtesting with this deck, and sure, I will have grade threes. I know how to manage my hand and keep my grade threes in hand when I want to go into this card or not. But there are those games when you're damaging your threes, you're not really drawing them and things like that, and so then you come to discussions. Well, how are we going to stride and avert and make it more or less guaranteed effective? Well, obviously it's before you destride, when you bounce the cards back, you can bounce back a grade 3, then ride it. Sure, by all means, but here's the thing: when you're paying the cost for stride, you can drop two, three grade ones, a grade 2, and a grade 1, 2 grade 2s, whatever it is. You can drop that without discarding the 3 in your hand. So you're already negging. So you're struggle striding in a way. You're negging 2 to stride her. After her drive check, she discards 3 more on. You discard 3 more on top of the 2 you discard. So in total, you've discarded 5 cards this turn. In order to end up with just a twin drive. If you have the 3 in your hand and you have the stride enabler, and which I do play for, and if you guys want to see the deck profile, I'll definitely put it out for you guys. But if you do have the stride enabler in your hand, then you can definitely drop the stride enabler. Getting that for you guys. You can definitely drop the stride enabler, and it's a lot easier. But again, the problem to me with this card and why it should never be compared to Nextage is the fact that it requires too many conditions to be fulfilled for it to give you the maximum value, whereas Nextage will always give you the maximum value because you will always be on a Chronojet Vanguard unless you're bad and unless you just don't play enough Chronojets in your deck, because you have 8 Chronojets. Hell, if you play Bailiff, you'll still have a Chronojet because you're just going to use the ability to get Chronojet in the Vanguard circle. Its accuracy in getting its full value is 100%. With this deck, if you don't have the 3 in your hand, because then there's times where it's like, well, look, and this is kind of like how I want to talk to you guys about, what is a better finisher, Wailing Thavas or Lambros, and I'm going to bring up that point, this same point again. There are certain times in a game where the card that you choose to go into may or may not have a higher percentage chance of winning you the game. You play to win the game, pretty much. You play to win the game. There are situations where Vert will win you the game has a higher percentage chance of winning you the game more so than Olivia, more so than Princess Labrador. There are situations where, Olivia is better than Vert, especially in the cases where you're not trying to drop more than 1 card to stride and, you want to be able to finish off your opponent. Now, again, it can have, then you can also take a risk. You can discard the 3. Let's say that's your only card you really can stride with. You can just discard the 3. Excuse me. Then, we discard the 3, right? Now what you're doing is now you're relying on luck. You're relying on your triple drive producing a grade 3 within it in order for you to be able to drop the 2 cards you drove check, at least two of the cards that you drove check, and at least having 1 other card in your hand to discard so that you can pay the cost for Vert's ability and ride that grade 3 that you drove check. But again, you're doing something extremely risky, and I don't think it's good, which is relying on your drive check. Whenever you have to rely on your drive check, unless you're playing Genesis and you know what you're getting, OTT, which is bad, but you know what you're getting. If you know what you're getting, fine. And if you're cheating and you know what you're getting, then, well, you're a cheater and I hope you get caught. But if you don't know what you're getting, then that is a heavy risk that you're taking and a risk that could potentially lose the game. Because if you don't get that grade 3 in your hand with that risk, then you've just lost yourself the game. Then that means that Olivia play, which is a lot more consistent in getting off the full ability, the full value of her skill, is a lot more consistent than Vert is. You could have done that and had a much better turn. An extra attack, Vanguard swing with the critical. Your Vanguard's going to force out at least 2 cards, or 1 card, if they have one of those really good G Gardens and let you get a 2 to pass or something like that, or whatever the case may be. Whereas Vert will probably force out a little bit more cards too. But if you're not guaranteed to get that 3 in your hand, then you're in some trouble. To me, you're in some trouble. I like Vert. And again, if you guys want to see deck profile, because I have it already, I just really haven't played it because I was playing Aqua Force during our, DMV Dynasty Cup Vangola Tournament Circuit Series. If you guys want to see deck profile, I'll put it up. But I just have an issue with Vert being compared to Nextage, and that is better. Yes. Now, when you look at it after let's say after you've paid the cost, when you do Vert. Now, what is good about the deck? If you're on the Vert break ride, then you break ride. Let's say you break ride like a Labrador or a Garnet. You're going to get a pretty nice ability. Labrador, when you use her ability, swings, gets 10k and an extra crit on top of the break ride. That's plus 20k. That's 31k by herself with an extra, critical. Garnet, if you're at 5 damage and you use her ability, Claw 3 Prisms, she gets an extra drive check, and you can use her ability when you break ride. And if you do bounce some cards, you can use her ability camera plus 1 to give her an extra 5k. I mean, that is what it is, but she's more of a defensive card to me. But there is that. Now, if you are just on a Vert, let's say you're not even on Vert. Let's say you're on Labrador and you do go into Vert. Then when you destride Vert and you rewrite a card, what grade 3 do you have to rewrite? Because Labrador is already, pretty good, pretty solidified. Now, you're probably gonna ride a let's say we ride Garnet. Okay, we ride Garnet. We don't get any extra power, so she's at a base of 11k. Hopefully you have a booster behind her ready to go. Let's just, obviously we're taking out triggers out of the equation. Let's see, we go into Garnet. Garnet is, we're going to Garnet. Garnet's fine here, there. But then she doesn't get any extra power, so your opponent's going to use a little bit less shielding to go. Same thing, and if you go into Labrador, Labrador is at least going to force out a little bit more shielding because she's going to gain 10k. She's going to be at 21k. Force out at least a 15k shield. At least a 15k shield. That's what she's going to definitely force out by herself with her own attack. But this deck really relies on you riding your grade 3 Vert. It really relies on riding grade 3 Vert in order to have the deck reach its reach its maximum value as far as the Vert turn goes. And break riding a Vert over a Vert is kind of mad because you then lose out on the multiple attacks that Labrador and Garnet can definitely create. But it could just be a move just to push things, and then if you can get those cards in hand, then you can re-break right over that after another Vert turn and do it so and so again. You compare those turns and whatever to Chrono did. Now, I understand that Gear Chronicles are broken. I understand that. I have a discussion that I recorded between a few of my members, and it might make you kind of sick with the shaking, but I'll probably put that up as well. But here's the thing: outside of time stuff, Chrono Jet at himself, again, you don't need another grade 3. To ride. You don't need another condition. The only condition you need to have is having a counterblast available to you and 3 cards to discard, and you can get your 3 cards from your triple drive. Chrono Jet will restand. Now, Chrono Jet will attack. Depending on which Chrono Jet you have, regular Chrono Jet without using Heart Thumb Work or anything like that will swing for a 16k with some guard restrict. Okay, that's cute. With a boost, it's like 23, whatever it is. Chrono Jet G, he gets 5,000 for each, I think, face up gear dragon or something in the zone. He can get depending on how late it is in the game, he can get a lot of damn power. No guard restrict, but it's a lot of power, and will be able to force out some shielding in itself. Be able to force out 15, 20k shielding, 30k shielding. Depending on when you do it. So him by himself is just a good. Both of those Chrono Jet cards are just good in general. Even though the deck supporting pieces are so much better than pretty much everybody else's, with this deck compared to that, Nextage is in a class of its own. Rather, Vert should not be compared to Nextage in the fact that they're on equal levels, because Vert has there's more conditions to fulfill for Vert that will allow you to get the higher value, that will allow you to get the full value of her ability off than Nextage, who has less conditions to fulfill, and more accuracy as well. See, Vert is less accurate than Nextage. Nextage is more accurate and has less conditions, whereas Vert has more conditions and is less accurate. So that's my argument on why I think Vert is a pretty good card. I like it, trust me, I like it, but I don't think it's a Nextage. I think it is, it's not a Nextage. It's a different type of card. Yes, it's restanding, whatever it is, but it's not Nextage. It's just not. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's like 15 minutes of me ranting about this, but I wanted to just get my point out across. And hopefully the person I was arguing with looks at the video. And yeah. Alright, Cardfight King, and I'm out. Peace. And I'm also going to have another discussion video with you guys. Going to talk about Wailing Thavas versus Lambros as, in terms of what card is a better finisher as we prepare for set 9. Alright, we out. Peace.